I really wanted to go to a meet today. There's no meet, so this shall be my meet. This is my coordinate. I have broken up with Sweet. I'm now in a healthy relationship with Classic. This bonnet is from Innocent World. These gloves, I was gonna say they're thrifted, but I'm not American. These gloves came from a charity shop for like 50p. What a bargain. This dress is Chic-Lit. Oh no, you can't see it. Should I stand on the settee? Like, no, I'm not gonna do that. But this dress is from Chic-Lit, and then my scandalous socks are from Baby the Stars Shine Bright, and then my shoes are Mary Mag something. I don't know how to say it. In reality, I'm still a sweet Lolita, but I have discovered that I like Classic. This is by looking back on many Classic coordinates that I've done and thinking, oh, I like and wear Classic. I didn't realise. I chose my outfit solely because of this bonnet, because I wanted to wear a bonnet today, because bonnets are great, but also today we are going to talk about wearing Lolita fashion in public. And no one can argue that bonnets do not draw the most attention, do not get the most street harassment. Bonnets are like a big satellite dish collecting all the general public stupidity. In my nifty handy bag here, I have only one item because I'm not actually going out, and the item is my telephone. And on my telephone is a list of notes for this video. The first time I ever wore a Lolita, I was in a neighbouring town to my own with my mum and my sister, and this was my coordinate, A star, I know, and I was going into a Holland and Barrett, and someone down the street shouted, "What the fuck is that?" Which I laughed at because I thought, oh, how silly, he's laughing at me. Really, I'm a fashion goddess. Now I laugh at both him and myself because this coordinate. But I would say that while my understanding and deliverance of Lolita fashion improved, the reactions I got remained the same. It was, what the fuck is that at the start, and it just remained, oh, what the fuck is that, for the entire time. You can draw one conclusion from this, which is that people who don't wear Lolita fashion, especially those who don't wear alternative fashion, do not have any idea how good or bad a coordinate is. So you can dress like an eater at your local supermarket, and really it makes no difference to anyone but yourself. But I recently watched a video, and in the video they were talking about wearing Lolita fashion in public and their experiences and is it worth it, and they mentioned that they pretty much received almost no negative response from the general public from wearing Lolita fashion, which is great. I'm very happy for them, but I would say my experience is far from that. So I felt the question, is it worth it, wasn't really explored. So I still ask, is it worth it? And perhaps other people who have similar experiences to me, or think they might have similar experiences to me, might think, is it worth it to wear Lolita fashion in public? From my experience, negative reactions can, do, and will happen. Sometimes they can be pretty unpleasant. It's coming up to my 6th year in Lolita fashion this summer. So I've been wearing Lolita fashion for 6 years, and during those 6 years I haven't worn it just to meets, I've worn it to the grocery store, to the supermarket, I've worn it to the park, to see my relatives, to clean toilets. And over those 6 years I've gathered a collection of negative reactions from the general public. I was walking through the centre of my town, and I've had, I think they were probably teenage boys, throw cans of fizzy drinks at me, which is scary because I don't want one to, you know, to be hit by flying objects, and also I worry about my dress. So that wasn't fun. I was alone, I didn't approach them, I didn't do anything to aggravate them. They just decided that that would be fun. Also, in my hometown, I've had 2 adults, and they followed me around singing I'm a Barbie girl. I'm sure a lot of people as well get the I'm a Barbie girl when you are walking past them. They think it's funny. I've no idea why. So, you know, I was like, okay, just another one of them. I'm ready for it. But no. They followed me. They followed me around the shopping centre that I was in, and down to the toilets because I needed to use the lavatory. I went into the cubicle because I was going to use the lavatory and they obviously got bored. But yeah, they followed me around and that was not fun. Again, I had done nothing to aggravate them. I hadn't interacted with them at all. I was on the London Underground and I was waiting for my train and a man out of nowhere approached me and said, "Are you a doll?" and then proceeded to go and hug me. No, don't do that. No thank you, is my reaction when someone, especially some rando, is just coming to get in your personal space. I pushed him. Obviously I was on the underground platform and he was opposite me. I was facing the tracks, so he had the tracks behind him. So when I pushed him, he was stumbling towards the tracks. So on one hand, I'm, no, please don't touch me. And then as soon as I remove that danger, there's the danger that I might have manslaughtered a man. Fortunately, he did not fall on the tracks, die, but my heart went pom-pom very dramatically in those moments. So those all happened when I was alone. I was wearing either sweet or classic, but that's because I mostly wear sweet or classic. When I was with a group of Lolitas in London for an event, we went to Chinatown because we like food and we like good food. We like good Chinese food from Chinatown. We were swarmed by a horde of tourists and everywhere you looked there was flashes of photography. It was like, I imagine if you just, I don't know, dumped Lady Gaga down in a random street and suddenly everyone is like, oh my goodness, it's Lady Gaga. It was quite surreal to be literally surrounded by this circle, this crowd of tourists taking pictures from every angle. Fortunately, I suppose I'm pretty thick-skinned and things like that. Some of the friends I was with were really upset by that and it really flared up their anxiety, so that wasn't great for them. It was a bit weird for me. There was a time I was at a meet with my local comm and by coincidence my girlfriend and I, we had gone for a little walk with just ourselves and we'd left the rest of the group back at the picnic. While we were gone, reportedly, according to my friends, a man came up to them and said that they should be raped. So that was wonderful. I would say those are probably the most dramatic negative experiences that I and my fellow friends and local Lolitas have experienced. Now usually you weigh the negative up against the positive. So we've had the negative reactions, naturally we'll get the positive reactions. Personally, my absolute favourite are children's reactions because children are pure and precious. I remember being a child and being in awe of the world and all the new things I was witnessing. I remember people who wore alternative fashion that I saw as a young child who inspired my fashion journey. So, you know, perhaps a bit arrogant, but I like to think of myself as being in that position sometimes. Random children would just say, hello, and I will be like, hello. Very good. Live for that. Another one of my favourite positive reactions are the smiles of acknowledgements from goths and other alternative fashion participants. And you're like, cool outfit, you know, that kind of exchange. Love that, that's also good. Old ladies are kind of cute when they're like, oh, I used to wear petticoats when I was a child. But if we take those positive experiences and the negative experiences, I find it's kind of like a 50-50 on the scales. We're weighing up equal with these two things. I think these happen a little bit less often, but they're a little bit more dramatic, and these happen more often, but they're just little sparkles of the day. When I think, is it worth wearing Lolita fashion in public, despite the negative reactions and with the benefit of the positive reactions, if you're just comparing those two, it doesn't really tell the whole story. Enjoyment from wearing Lolita fashion comes mostly from me, inside me, rather than from the opinions of external people. So if it was solely based on the opinions of strangers, no way, it would not be worth it. If you only want to dress a certain way to get positive feedback from external sources, it's not worth it. It's definitely not worth it. This fashion is not worth it if your heart's not in it. But so we've got negative reactions, positive reactions. But then if we add the joy of wearing it, then the scales go, oh, and then obviously it's worth wearing Lolita fashion. I don't really give new Lolitas a pep talk because that's not really what happens in Lolita communities. But if I were to, I think I'd say, you know, your heart has to be in this and you will get negative reactions. If you don't, that's lucky, that's wonderful. I am jealous, I suppose. Yeah, go and live your life. But I think no amount of negative experiences would make it not worth it, because the joy of wearing Lolita fashion is not comparable to that. If your heart's in it, it's worth it. And maybe I will have a burger thrown at me, but I will still not stop wearing Lolita fashion. And never. You can throw as many burgers as you like and I will never stop. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.